Perfect. Okay, well, I'm going to start it over. Okay, so, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Jobber Report. Hello, Pages and Pathways.
Hello, Pages and Pathways. Hello, everybody.
She is with us immediately. Thank you so much. Um, yes, this is the Jobber Report. We're a little bit early. We apologize for going in a day ahead of our regular schedule, but some things in life are calling. So this week and next week, we're going to be on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Eastern. That is whatever is not Eastern for you, so you figure it out. It's 2 hours here, 2 hours there. 1 hour up, 1 hour down. We are here.
Come on.
Big D is good with this. Like, he's got the Pacific, he's got the Northern Islanders and Pacific Islanders. He's got everything. He's got it down. Big D is an international man.
My New Zealand tribemen.
Yo, well.
Thursday, they're actually pretty close to. They're on Thursday, over there. But not bad. We're only 25 hours early.
Yeah, well,
it's no biggie.
Yeah, that's breathe.
They can watch. They can watch it anytime they want.
So, do you want to start us with?
Yeah, some there's just little news that happened throughout the week. We lost a member of the WWE universe, Kamala. Ugandan giant Kamala passed away earlier this week at age 70, which that was actually pretty shocking for me. I mean, it always seems like it's shocking when you find out the age, and 70 just feels like, really 70. It's just like, wow. Then you think about it, and it's been almost 30 years since so he was 40 years old when I first got introduced to Kamala, which kind of tells you about the history of wrestling back in the day, where you had a lot of older guys that had been around for a long time, but just getting that time of their career to really kind of shine. But yeah, it was a little just it's always a little sad moment when people pass away, and I kind of go right back to memories. And the first thing that hit my head was his casket match against the Undertaker, Survivor Series '92, I believe it was. Yeah, I just recall that whole scene, just the whole Kamala just being so scared of that casket and just that character. Yeah.
I remember his fear. I remember that for some reason. I don't remember the match, but I remember watching something where he was just so scared. Was that the match?
I think it was just the whole experience. I believe it wasn't quite like the Yokozuna casket where the Undertaker had to make it, but they always showed the little vignettes of the Undertaker working on his casket, or it was sitting there. It might have been as he was walking down the aisle or something like that. The casket was, I don't know, but yeah, it was just the fear of that casket that Kamala had. The match, as far as the match goes, I don't really recall the match too much, but I do remember that fear was instilled in him. And he had a couple moments where even in the man, I can't think of it. The late '90s there. You had the legend. He was a legend. He was a legendary wrestler. They had that gimmick Royal Rumble, and Kamala was a part of that. like he stayed with the WWE, and he was known as a legend. His gimmick was one of a kind. Definitely for the time period that he was around. Um, you would not see that character on TV this day and age. Um, but yeah, and then then his own personal health. He was going through a lot of health issues, and he was a survivor of he was a double amputee, lost both of his legs,
Mm, mm.
which I can't imagine the thought of that. I mean, I don't know if I would even look past that, but
Yeah, that's
uh,
tough.
yeah, yeah, just a little shout out to Kamala, the Ugandan giant. Definitely one of a kind. And I know he had a vast wrestling career through the '80s. Feuds with Hulk Hogan, feuds with The Undertaker, Yokozuna. Um, yeah, so it's just you want to go back in the '80s, mid early '80s, you'll see more of his career. Um, so, but yeah.
Um, well, yeah. Thank you, Kamala. It was he was definitely during that era where I don't know. I'm sorry if you guys can hear stuff. I was just getting help. Actually, I have to plug in my computer. I am not fully prepared today, but we got it down. It's all good. Uh, he was he was during that era where like people were characters. You had the big boss man. You had the $1 million man, Ted DiBiase, the Undertaker. Definitely characters. And I remember listening to Jim Cornette's podcast, and he talked about when Kamala first came about. Apparently he's not Ugandan. He's just he's American. Uh,
Yep.
but he
Yep.
played that role, and in the beginning, when he first came out with all the voodoo stuff, it really creeped people out. So that character was over, and going into WWE, it became a little more of a caricature, but still, man, it was one of the characters you definitely remember. So he had a lasting impression. So
Oh yeah.
so thank you, because that was about the era where like first it was actually even aware of wrestling. So that was Papa Shango was still on there. I remember Papa Shango. I don't know if he was exactly the same time as Kamala, but I remember Kamala too with Yokozuna. So
Right.
it was fun, man. Great character. It's sad
Yeah.
that like the diabetes complications.
Yep.
Whew, that's a tough one. But 70 years, considering, like, I just about said, let's like, hey, he had a great life, 70 years. That's not great. I mean, the only reason I would even say that is because of how wrestlers, what um, they die at a younger age, abuse of drugs, um,
Right.
just injuries, and then, of course, all that accumulates to heart attacks, which, brings me to Ric Flair. So, but thank you, Kamala. It was great. Uh,
Yep.
Definitely some part of my childhood. So,
Oh yeah. Yep. Yep. I mean, I think I have his. I think I have a figurine of Kamala. I do know that one of his figurines. He's always had the star and the moon crest on painted on his body, on his belly. He always slapped his belly.
yeah,
Um, but on one of the figurines, Mattel figurine, I believe it was, the moon or whatever, it's in the wrong spot,
uh-oh.
and it got sold and all that. It's like one of the rarest figurines out there, and it's worth thousands of dollars for this Kamala figurine. Um, but yeah, no, it was definitely Yeah, I mean, he came out with those masks, uh, the African wooden masks, and he had a shield and a spear. He was just, he was a warrior, and even his manager, just always trying to calm the monster. 'Cause he was actually, that's what he's supposed to be. He was supposed to be a warrior, a monster. Uh, yeah, so.
I remember the mask now that you said that.
Yeah, it was probably a solid maybe not 3 feet, but 2.5, 3 feet almost.
How cool is that?
Yeah, exactly. You don't, I mean, just the attire. I mean, you don't see that anymore.
How freaking cool is that?
Right. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh well, we're starting like Raw started, so.
Yeah.
So maybe you should do an intro now.
Live.
Yeah, from New York.
Yeah,
Sometimes it feels like it's a joke, doesn't it? Some of it, like considering coronavirus and everything, it feels like you open up on the show and it's like, this is weird. Where's the crowd? You know?
Right.
It's like, what are all these other wrestlers doing in the background?
Completely. Well, now we all know what they're doing. They're all waiting to go underground.
That's right. Oh, do you want to start there? Do you want to start with underground?
Yeah, sure. Well, it's a ring with no ropes. It's
And no pads either. There doesn't seem to be any padding
right.
on the ring. It's just like wooden, but the springs are still there. It seems like.
Yeah. Which is, it's all right. To be honest, it kind of grew on me a little bit this week, more so than when it showed up randomly. I think that they're getting rid of. I didn't. Believe the first week they had dancers. I don't know if they had dancers the second week. There's no reason to have dancers. That was just one thing that stood out for me last week, and I was like, I really hope that if this is going to be a thing, I really hope that's not going to be part of it.
Yeah.
Well,
that's like Nitro Girls, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, that
was just a weird thing. Yeah.
Back then, that was like in the 90s. That was I think wrestling demographic was primarily like teenage boys, or at least like I don't know, 15 to 30 or something like that. The age group.
You had that on like TV shows like In Living Color. You had the In Living Color dance crew, or that was just the sketch comedy show. You had dancers.
Yeah, I didn't grow up in this country, so I know of the in the Living Color.
Right.
But I don't. I never watched it. Or I watched some skits, but not the whole show.
Just something about needing to have cheerleaders, I guess.
Yeah.
Because to kind of make it. I don't know if they're trying to make it more sportsy or. Well, yes, like you said, the demographic of teens, middle-aged men, and whatnot. But no, the underground it grew on me. It grew on me. You're seeing familiar faces. Now down there, they're not necessarily familiar from. You know what they're familiar to me from? They're familiar from the audience at Raw and SmackDown. These are people
wrestlers,
that I've seen.
Yep, or the dancers?
Yep. The fighters. Yeah, we're past the dancers.
Yeah, okay.
Which
we're past the Nitro Girls.
Hopefully Shane McMahon has gotten, because Shane McMahon did tweet, and there was a lot of heat about Raw Underground, and he did react to it and said that it needed a lot of work, but we can't wait for week 2. But yeah, it grew on me. It grew on me. We're gonna see where it goes. If it's something that will last, if it's something that needs its own hour, I would say.
They're kind of like
I mean, that's
sprinkling it in now, or
right, right. And it's like how much are they gonna sprinkle that in? Are they gonna have a 10 to 12 person roster? Are they gonna have their own roster? Which I think they should. Um, these matches aren't very long. They're not meant to be. Um, you either win or you lose. It's pretty. It doesn't seem like there's really much of a. I mean, unless you get to the good fighters against each other, but I think they're just kind of trying to get it familiarized, build these characters up, um, kind of get to know their name a little bit, uh, and then sprinkle in, people like Shayna Baszler, and I think you might find some regular, guys on Raw and SmackDown that go down and go on the underground and fight.
yeah, they can't lose though. That's the thing.
Right.
Like if they go to
Right.
Raw Underground, not a single superstar can lose. So that's like a no go from the start. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. It does. It does.
But it'd be a good way to maybe bring up some new guys. Show how tough they are.
Right. I can't think of the guy's name, but the really big guy, really tall guy, Daba.
Bubba something. No, Baba.
Daba.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. Yeah. He's like he's
Um,
supposed to be 7 feet tall.
that is a big guy.
Yeah.
He's a big guy, and I was actually watching. I was watching Netflix last night, and I came across there's a movie, there's a WWE movie, and it's just a kids movie, and well, whatever, I'll throw it on because I saw some familiar faces like Otis is in it, Keith Lee's in it, uh, The Miz. Well, this guy is also in it, and I was just like, okay, well, that's who this guy is. Uh, Hello, one who knows. How you doing? Um, so yeah, so it was like just a familiar face, and I'm like, okay, so this is who this guy is. And then I recognize him from being the fans at the Raw and SmackDown, or just Raw, whatever. Um, but yeah, so yeah, he's a big guy. The one thing I hated, which I don't know if you caught it, but I'm sure you did, but the good old groin crotch grab, and I was like, yeah, we don't. It doesn't need to go there. It doesn't need to go there. But
At least it was realistic, right? It wasn't like he grabbed him in the crotch, and then he started. Instead of the guy who's grabbed, the other guy is getting hurt. Like I thought, I thought that was just it was funny. That when I first saw the crotch, the whole thing, that was just hilarious to me, man. Oh my god, I was like, this is funny. I mean, I don't know if it'll have. I mean, if we know wrestling is fake, then okay, it has a spot. But it was still kind of like, okay, all right, it's funny. It's yeah, but then next thing you know, I'm waiting for the Invisible Man to show up. Because
right, and that's
those
what
two, that's the same slope, man. It starts with boom.
exactly. I'm just like, oh, like he just, oh man, but yeah, I mean, this guy is definitely getting um, a run right now, and where's it going to go for him? Well, it's just going to be interesting to see where they take this underground. Um,
Yeah, they're definitely building them up. Hey, one who knows,
yeah,
it was me who replied under the Jobber report. Just heads up, I'm the one doing the chat. We're both
thanks for
we're
joining.
both in. Woohoo! Hey.
Ho ho.
Bad writing's got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. I just like this was one thing I wanted to talk about, which is writing. I guess we don't have to jump into it just yet. We can cover a couple of things. But yeah, it's like, does WWE actually have writers, or do they have like creators, like creatives?
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows?
One who knows.
Do you know what it is?
One who knows. We need some answers, man. We are in we're in limbo trying to figure out some of these creative ideas. Though there were some really good things on Raw this week, man. There,
I was just gonna say that. Like this week was a decent week. I mean, SmackDown there was a couple of things, but yeah, Raw stood out more than SmackDown did this week. Um,
some good matches.
yeah, I'll let you.
I don't know about the poisoning storyline. Uh, uh, like I don't know what, like that to me is still kind of like, okay, so somebody poisoned well, what's his name from the Street Profits?
Montez Ford.
Montez Ford, yeah. And it's like, oh, come on. Okay, but whatever. It's at least some storyline, you know. It's like, who ran over Stone Cold Steve Austin? You know, it was. We're gonna ruin that for you right now.
It wasn't me.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
It wasn't me.
Wasn't me. Saw you running over Stone Cold. It wasn't me. You slapped your mama on camera. It wasn't me. Oh man. Uh, yes. So I would. I don't know much about wrestling. Oh, one who knows. You know everything. You're the one who knows. Um, how was it? So okay. So I'll start with what's Bianca Belair and Vega match.
In the Vega. Yep. Yep.
You know, like if you've been watching this podcast, you know that I'm always talking Bianca's hair. You're like, you pull on that. Like if I'm wrestling, you pull on that. Whomp. Right?
Yep.
Guess what Vega was doing? She was using that hair.
Yep.
Which I saw that. It was perfect, and you know, dude, girls are wrestling better than the guys. They're more believable to me. They're more believable, and it's that's not to say there were actually there was one really good match that I liked, men's match. But what stole the show for me was Bianca Belair match and Bailey and Asuka, which is actually a pay-per-view match anyway.
Yeah.
And they put on a freaking clinic, man. It was beautiful. It was a great match. But that's just it. Like I like storylines, and I like good matches, but I like storylines. So I didn't get a ton of storylines, but I'm getting good matches. So I'm like, okay, I'm somewhat satisfied. I'm much more satisfied than probably I don't know, 2 months worth of Raw, maybe more.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's been a long stretch. Well, it's and you said like it's not the wrestling
I wonder
matches
what the
and the
ratings
story.
were. Sorry.
It went up a little bit. I believe it was 1.7. So it didn't go up too much, but I'm not sure how much it ended up going up from. But it did go up a little bit.
I'll find out.
But it's we're getting closer to SummerSlam. SummerSlam's a week from Sunday. So we're getting there, and they're getting these stories, getting them strong. So we get to SummerSlam, and we're at a peak. We're at a climax in these feuds. I did like that we started off the show on Raw with Seth Rollins, and I don't know if that's going to be his name, Dominic Mysterio. I don't know, but I'm assuming it is going to be for now, unless maybe he will develop into a character. But they were having the contract signing, and not only a contract signing for a match, but a contract signing for him becoming an official member of the WWE roster. Um,
So he's
so that was
officially in. Is that what you're saying?
yes,
All right.
yes. Uh, I think
Congratulations.
he got the welcoming. He got hazed pretty, pretty. I don't know if it was fair. But he got hazed pretty hard.
Well, he was hazing the
Uh,
last 2 weeks. He wasn't on the roster, and he was hazing Seth Rollins pretty good, and Murphy there, dude. He
exactly.
beat the crap out of him for 2 weeks.
No,
He's getting
no.
it.
I mean, he swings a kendo stick, and like that's the thing too is that's gonna be allowed in the
Oh,
match.
they're laying him in, man. They're laying him in. There's no holding back on those kendo sticks,
Right, and I think it's. Oh yeah,
and
no.
they do hurt.
Hey, those marks that they left on him. Oh man, like those kendo sticks. You don't mess around with kendo sticks. I mean, it's always been it hurts a lot more than you probably think it
That
does.
well, that
But
was Ric Flair's thing, with the chop.
yep,
Yeah,
yep,
it's like you see like the wrestler's chest get red, and you're like, holy shit, this. It's like it's a real chop. He really smacked him. Like you can't.
exactly.
Yeah, you gotta lay that. You let it. Yeah, you gotta lay that shit in, man. It's.
He was just getting it from both ends or both sides, front side, back side. Oh man, he was just getting
Oh, you got a
wrecked.
smile on your face for that. It's like, uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
So and like you know what, and like it's kind of like
Big D
they
so
have this.
hardcore he falls asleep. He puts the violent matches on. He puts like the ECW, and then he dreams so fondly.
Yeah, it's just like counting sheep. I count
Kendo sticks,
chair
chair shots.
headshots. But the key word you just said was smile. Like I
Yeah.
don't think I smiled once talking about this feud. I think this was a perfect way to get Dominic in the match, and that's just that ruthless aggression, that violence. That this is his upper hand. He's allowed to use weapons, just like Rollins told him. You come in a ring one on one, you're not going to last 5 minutes. That is pure facts. I called that. I said the same thing from the get go when I realized that this feud was going to happen now. Um, like giving him a weapon in his hand, letting him use it, having him come out, last few weeks and get that upper hand. I'm okay with it now. So then I mean, obviously they're doing something right with this storyline as far as, um, I mean, I guess that's why you just gotta give it time and let things just happen. Um, Whether or not we just like, oh, well, whatever. It's at least it's something. But I generally I generally enjoyed that. And that it gives that that Seth Rollins that power that he needs of the almighty power, and he can do whatever he wants, and he's just gonna yeah roll out. So I'm looking forward to that. I mean, how much of a match it's gonna be, um, you know, technical wise, I'm not sure. I think it's just gonna be really physical, um, and a potentially just a huge beat down. Who knows?
Well, I just hope that. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if Rey Mysterio comes out. Like with both eyes
Right.
closed, and like he's got he,
Let's get.
he's got that like the
He's
the
got
walking stick, but um, but yeah, like not to make fun of anyone who can't see. This.
recently lost two
Yeah,
eyes.
we're making fun of the fact that this guy like they actually went with a storyline where he got both of his eyes. Yeah, he lost an eye and got the other eye destroyed by a corner of the steel steps. Like that literal physical storyline that they went with. And we witnessed an eye for an eye match where supposedly he lost his eye, which you're like, what the hell? Like, there's no
Yeah.
way. But that'd be funny. Rey Mysterio runs in with like a walking stick, and he's like the blind samurai with the Rutger Hauer movie from back in the day. He comes
Yes.
in and just he still does lucha. He still flies everything, but he does it. He's like he works with echo and stuff, and he can hear. Like his sense of hearing is just magical, you know. That but
Right.
that joke, I said too much. I should have just left it at that. Here comes Rey Mysterio, and he just runs out and runs straight into the barricade, just
Right. Just,
into
yeah.
the Shield.
Bouncing off the clear walls and accidentally 619's his son. Uh, but
He's Fury. That's what it's called. Something Fury, that movie. Um, so
I'm not sure.
I just hope they don't pull the Matt Riddle on it. You know, because Matt Riddle came in with AJ Styles. He came in hot. And then, although with Sheamus last week on SmackDown, Matt Riddle was awesome. That was a good match.
Yes. Yes.
So things are happening, man. Like a couple of good matches, 2 shows in a row for me. Uh, they're pulling me in again, so I'm excited.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like okay. So now we're gonna get Dominic against Seth Rollins. What's it gonna go
Is
from?
there a stipulation in that match, by the way?
Just I think the only thing is that Dominic can use the kendo stick. I believe the kendo sticks is involved.
So
Um,
they both get
he's
kendo
allowed.
sticks.
I would assume so.
Yeah,
I would assume
that
so,
would make
'cause
sense otherwise.
it was pretty much the fact that one on one in a regular match you're not going to last 5 minutes. So you think you're pretty good with this stick. I'll let you use it during the match. So the one thing I don't remember seeing exactly was the actual signing of the contract. So I don't. I think he did sign them though. I just, it was just a little image in my head of him not ever really signing. So is he really a WWE superstar or not? But
I think they signed. No.
Samoa Joe's getting involved. I don't know if he's going to be in the ring in the future coming up. But yeah, that Murphy started the whole thing of uh, just spearing Dominic right into the wall. But
Sorry guys, we had just a slight little hiccup there, so we kind of lost you for a second, but we're back online, so I apologize for that. Um, yeah, we're back. We're back. Uh, I'm looking forward to it. I feel like all those kendo sticks, the usage of all those kendo sticks, kind of like they blew the water already on like I would have loved to have seen Dominic like at the pay-per-view come out and just cost Seth Rollins the match and
right,
beat him up. Like that would have been. But they do need ratings, so I understand. Um, I'm a little more excited about it now after Seth Rollins beat the crap out of him, but they
right,
made it real.
right,
They made it realistic. Like and wrestling doesn't need to be real, but it needs to be believable, and they definitely made it more believable. So
right.
I'm a fan of that. And we had the Street Profits, that Bianca Belair match. Uh, yeah. So this kind of I want to get into a little bit about. I guess what I'm seeing with wrestlers, there's this so chin stroking, okay? It's like literally like what they're doing this, yeah, and this, they're sorry guys, I'm wailing on my mic, but
Yeah,
they're doing
I hope
this.
I gotta wait for the delay a little bit. Okay, there we go.
There it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's like everywhere. Like I see that everywhere. Can you hear me? Yeah. I
Yes.
I see that everywhere, man. So it just I don't know if they're asking him to do the same thing or they're seeing everybody else do it. Like I'm a little stumped, but anyone who doesn't do that seems to be like a little more of themselves. So watching the street or watching Garza and Andrade, yeah, they're
Mhm.
both doing the same thing. They're both kind of like acting. I mean, they're a little cocky. I believe their cockiness, but outside of that, it's just missing that for me. It's missing that for me. Meanwhile, Street Profits on the other hand, Montez, Sweat, right? Montez Sweat,
Ford.
Ford. Who's Montez Sweat? That's a football player, right?
I don't know.
That's a,
I'm not sure who Montez Sweat is.
Montez Pass Out is who it is. Montez Sweat. Yeah, I think it's a football player. Anyway, Montez Ford. God, I want to see more of him. Like that
Yes.
dude's just he's totally himself and just jacked up. It's like watching Wrestling Days. Shout out to Wrestling Days. It's like watching him get excited about the Fiend, like he's getting excited live on TV. Meanwhile, we're texting and getting excited. I'm like, we should be recording this. Um, but yeah, so like that's what I've been paying attention to. It's like what wrestler do that during an interview, and I can see why Vega is their manager. But she also had a fantastic damn match.
Yes. And that's one thing that you don't see a lot of is her wrestling. Um, she's the manager. She might get involved here and there. It's been a while since she's gotten physically involved in a match. She'll do her little hurricanrana. Um, but she's a good worker.
She that was a great match, man. I enjoy the shit out of that match. You kidding?
Yeah, and Bianca Belair. I mean, again, we haven't seen much of her on the main roster, but she she can do her thing. The physicality of her. I mean, just she's got to be one of the strongest females in the business right now. Um, just and yeah, her and her and Montez are real life husband and wife. Um, so that work ethic between the two must be that's just magical right there.
Yeah, they're definitely unique, man. So Montez, not Sweat, sorry. Montez Ford. I swear to God, it's a football player. Montez Sweat. I swear. Um, Big D's googling it. It's like Montez Sweat. Uh, yeah. By the way, Raw had a rating on of 1.28, like an average, I think, total. But it started with 1.8 and ended with about 1.68.
Oh, okay.
So about the same as last week. But that's once again, I'm not sure. Like if I look at YouTube, we've mentioned this before. Like if I look at the amount of people that are actually following WWE, it's like 50 some million. And then spread that throughout
Yeah.
all the social networks. You know, I don't know what my mic's doing. My mic's going in like super sensitive and then not too sensitive. I'm gonna have to figure this. I apologize. It's I'm on a different computer right now. So, anyways, I think it's gonna be more and more difficult. Like I'd like to know how many people are subscribed to the network. Like I think like how many people are actually losing. How many people they're losing after every week. How many
Right.
people they're gaining. But I'm excited about SummerSlam more and more. So we'll
It's
just
like
keep moving
how
forward.
much are they promoting? Um, that's another thing. Marketing and promoting. Like I don't watch like USA Network, so I'm not seeing if like they actually have like a lot of commercials or anything, or um, even their social media. Sometimes it's it's not that active. Um, so it's like you almost don't really know what's coming up this week. Occasionally, they might tell you a match that's going to happen next week or whatever. But so sometimes I mean, they just draw that crowd in. They need better marketing. But yeah, I don't know.
So you're saying they're not promoting SummerSlam too much? Because I haven't really gotten anything for SummerSlam outside of watching the shows.
Yeah, yeah, I don't really see too much. I mean, maybe I'm just not in the right places or whatever. But yeah, it's just something that is just like I guess it's just always there. So I don't really think about it.
Yeah, if you have the network, then you're not really you know
Right.
which well we know which pay per views are coming. So, but anyway, SummerSlam is coming, and uh, yeah, I don't get mail from them either that much. Like they're always trying to sell me merch. That's for sure. They're always peddling merch. But as far as like, oh, SummerSlam is coming, check it out, network. Like as soon as you sign up, that
Right.
I
Right.
don't get jack. But I get 50% off T-shirts all the time.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. I get yourself a.
There's only one thing that I have a problem with T-shirts, Big D, and that's like if I'm gonna wear one, it's gonna
Uh,
promote my merchandise. I'm tired of paying to promote someone else's merchandise. It's just what it is, you know.
right.
So I want to wear like maybe we can get some Jobber Report shirts. I'd wear that. I'd wear that everywhere. You know, I do my Max Jaw
Yeah,
thing. I'd wear that. Like I order those shirts. I have shirts of that, but I refuse to like just push. Like you go to the store, you have like Coca-Cola shirts. You have whatever promoting everything, and I'm like, I guess if you want to fit in with people, like, look, I have a Nintendo shirt on, so do you. Woo, that's cool. Or if
right.
they like something, that's cool. Like it's not. I guess I don't want to judge, but for me, I want to wear my own merch. Otherwise, you're getting a white T-shirt. I ain't saying
Yeah.
shit. I refuse to be a billboard, Big D. But
Yeah. So it's just I
it's
don't
just a
know
personal
what's
preference,
out
man. If you like it, you
what's
like it.
out there. What's out there getting people excited to tune in. Um,
You mean like anything or wrestling wise?
no wrestling like Raw, SmackDown.
Well,
Um,
Lucha Underground, I kind of dig their presentation. Like, it's a different. It's the style of wrestling that we see in the. Um, I don't know why my volume keeps going up on this, but it's the style of wrestling that we see in. Oh, there you are. Okay, sorry guys. My computer's giving me. It's being a little temperamental. Um, it's a style of wrestling we see in the WWE, okay, which is kicks in the head, flips, flying, all that stuff, right? But in the context of Lucha Underground, it's the whole presentation is pretty good. So that's one exciting thing, right? But I guess El Rey Network. You have to have El Rey Network to watch it. You can watch some stuff on YouTube, but nothing current. You can watch
well,
NWA on YouTube. You mentioned
no,
that, but they don't have a current season, do they?
no, no, not yet.
Not yet. So, so they're kind of seasonal, right? They're kind of like a football season, or
Well, like in a way,
or
um, they will film uh, almost all of their show. Like they just film way ahead, and then they happen, and then they might take like a month off and then come back. Um, so I believe it started in I want to say maybe like in November, and then even come summertime they're in their third season. So it's almost like a quarterly uh, season kind of thing that NWA does. Um, it's very unique as far as the way it's done. Again, it's all taped, and they'll do like three. 3 episodes in one day or something like that. And which is possible to do with the live audience that they have.
Yeah.
A couple hundred, if that, live audience. I mean, it's just and it's only in one spot. It's in Georgia, but they do have they do venture out for like their pay-per-views. So yeah, definitely. I definitely recommend checking out NWA on YouTube. All the episodes are there if you want to go back and just check them out. A lot of familiar faces if you're just a fan of wrestling, whether it be WWE, TNA, just a lot of familiar faces and just company men and old school wrestling. Um, Not as much high flying, very technical, quick. They only have an hour. They cram a lot in 1 hour.
Well, I think there's an art to having a 5 minute match.
Yep.
Because a lot of wrestlers, I've heard a lot of wrestlers on podcasts complain about 1 hour or 1 hour matches for like 5 minutes. Like, well, how can you tell a story in 5 minutes? But there's an art to it, man. Like it was a lot more fast paced. Like Raw and SmackDown are also starting to get more fast paced. You have shorter matches. You also have longer matches. Like a longer match that's good is okay, but a longer match that's bad, it's like, oof, that's that's a rough one, and it is like it is what it is. So
you got haikus, you got essays.
Oh, here we go.
There's just different forms of writing. Some are short, some are long. As long as you can tell a story, that's all. That's what they're pretty much their one and only job really is to be telling a story the entire time that they're out there performing. As long as you can do that, you can have a 5 minute match, 45-minute match, and to do an Iron Man match, you definitely better be able to tell your whole story, a 60-minute story.
Yeah, like
and not lose any interest.
Well, Ric Flair and like I watched some Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes matches. Oh my God! Like they can go for a while, but I tell you what, you know how many times Ric Flair takes what they call a powder, I guess. Like when he just getting smacked around, he just runs out of the ring and takes a powder. He's just sitting there and he's just like, fuck this, he's just like, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
He starts walking, people are booing, he's like, I'm done. He's walking, and then somebody gets him back, or like finally he comes back. Oh, like, but they could pull off, like Ric Flair could pull off so many of those. Like he was always just so attentive to that, man. And Dusty Rhodes, of course, Dusty's working the crowd. Dusty can work the crowd like nobody, man. So just watching Ric Flair and Dusty, like they went for like 20, 25 minutes, and every single moment of that match, like this is just not one match, okay? But every single moment of the match I watched, and this was just on YouTube. I plus all of these things are on the network, okay? So like I still forget that I can go on the network because I have it.
Right.
Yeah, and it's just, and then you watch like the newer style. It's a different style. It's more like, if anything, it's more like lucha style. But it doesn't fit like American wrestlers. Like it's so weird. It's like, but also why am I digressing so much? We're talking about short matches. Yes, so NWA short matches. That's how it was during the Attitude Era too. Like they were just quick. Boom, 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 boom.
Yep.
And I like that, because if it was a bad match, it ain't going to last long. We're going to move on to something that might be more fun. Now it's like bad match, or it's not a bad match. It's just different. It's short. It's, I don't know. It is different. The style is different. And yeah.
And I think that's maybe like you said, like they're starting to do that, and that a lot of that, there isn't that crowd that you have to, um, worry about staying happy or not. So it's like that's not even part of any equation anymore. Just get to the point.
Yeah.
I mean, to, you don't necessarily need. So tell your story through, you know, multiple matches, like through the week by week. Keep telling more of that story, the next chapter of this story, um, and not necessarily, And then if your story does call for a decent long match, then just make sure you do it right. Um, but well, like you said, like the short, quick, to the point, just physical. Um, and then depending on the wrestler, you get your technical spots of breaking down somebody limb by limb, and those are for your longer matches, and not many people can do that. It seems like correctly, but yeah. I have a feeling perhaps the Randy Orton and McIntyre match might be. Um, I might say that might be the longest match on the pay per view. I might throw that as a little prediction. It is one,
Oh.
but I just because I find Randy Orton to be a good technical as far as breaking down the body, tearing them down, um, and then I mean he can go a long time in matches.
He can go a long time.
We did find that out with Edge too. Yeah, but
Well, yeah, they're good wrestlers, man. The Randy Orton is a lot more old school. Like he pays attention to stuff for sure.
yeah,
He pays attention to uh, everything that goes on in the match. As far as also he pays attention to the crowd, which is non-existent now. So how do you tell a story? It's like, well, if you hadn't really learned with the crowd, it's gonna be more difficult. But it's still like, listen, this is a fight between two people. It really is a
hmm
fight. So anything that you do that would seem so unrealistic in a fight probably doesn't look good, you know?
right,
And so
right.
that's why I was so appreciative of the Vega match, with I keep calling her Vega like from Street Fighter. Uh, but she was yanking Bianca's hair, she used that. Not all the time, mind you, but she used that. And I was like, "Thank you. Thank you for holding it, at least pulling on it or holding it or using it for something." You
Now,
know what I mean?
I don't know if you saw the Twitter post, the retweet
No.
um, of the
I'm
Zelina Vega and
I'm on it right now.
Bianca Belair feud,
Oh, they
but
continued. That's right. I did. They fought
they made it
online.
real. Yeah, it was on Zelina Vega's actual Twitch, and she was live on Twitch with a friend of hers, and they had Bianca Belair just came out and like came in her house, and like they made that real where you got that like that little real factor, be it 20, 25, 30 seconds, but it like really amped up that, and next thing now you see him Zelina Vega and Bianca Belair fighting in the ring. That's what we need more of is just people just go fight in the ring. Stop pedaling around and uh, you know just fight. Um,
Yeah. Mm.
so yeah, I mean something's clicked a little bit, it seems, as far as um, these feuds coming into fruition, um, and just the stories um, clicking. Um, so yeah,
Definitely better. So I actually I was like, ooh, because a lot of times I would just like, okay, I just got to catch up with it. Fast forward, fast
right,
forward, fast forward. But
right,
I caught myself watching. I caught myself watching some of these matches, and I was like, hey, this is entertaining. So say what you want to say about Bruce Pritchard helping instead of Paul Heyman. But some things are working. There's some of these storylines are starting to be believable. Um,
Yeah, so maybe it takes that time to
to build them.
you know to like get to that point where so and so is writing and now they're not there anymore, and that layover. It takes a certain time to get to that point where now you're no longer in that the past writers
Hmm.
writing. Now you're on all your own. You've gotten past that like cohesiveness. Now it's all you. Now it's all him or theirs, whatever. Um, so yeah, no, it was just nice to have a a good a good night of wrestling.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure, man. For freaking sure.
and you kind of go back to the underground and like those are the quick matches that quick fights or whatever they are, whatever that's going to end up being. I don't know if it's going to be successful or not, but this they're sprinkling it in something and it's quick. It's quick. It's fast. It's powerful. Um, it's raw. It's dirty. It's grungy. It's yeah, yeah.
It's
So
supposed to be a shoot, but you can. I don't think it's a shoot. Does that make
I
sense?
think it is. I mean, it's got to be. It can't be.
I don't know when the dude gets kicked. Like, did they really get kicked in the head and get knocked out and twitching like that? I mean, I
I
don't
don't.
know.
It's all. It's still a shoot, but they have to make it look
It
good because it's still WWE. It's still they can't have. You're not going to be able to separate. The
the UFC
like
part of it.
right, right, yeah, and the scripted like yeah, it's all real, but it's not. You know, we all know as wrestling fans how it
It's
is.
between wrestling and UFC, right?
Right.
They're
You can't. There's a line that can't be crossed, and I think that's the legit hits and legit like injuries. Things can happen accidentally, sure, but I don't think there's that legit UFC thing. So,
no,
um,
no, God, no.
but it definitely improved from the first week. You're getting more familiar faces, more reoccurring faces, which is kind of branding it. So they are becoming it's becoming a brand. Um, so I see this maybe being what if you have maybe what if you have Raw that goes to 2 hours and you have an hour of Raw Underground? You know, that might be something that we always talk about Monday Night Raw needing to go down to 2 hours. You know, instead of three. Maybe this is a way that they do it.
Yeah,
Um,
this is a way they can bring in new wrestlers and new faces because they
right,
are,
right,
and they're already building like
right.
that. What's his Boba?
Yeah, I got this guy's name. Yeah, it's a weird one.
Yeah, but I mean,
Uh,
he has stood out. He's definitely stood out.
right.
So
Oh yeah, yeah. They've completely taken advantage of that.
I'm still not like sold on it personally.
Right.
I don't,
Same here.
I maybe more. I don't know. Let's just keep watching it. Um, it seems like they're trying to force something. Really, is what it feels like. We're gonna force this. Let's see how what we're well not force it as much as try it. Like they're definitely trying
Right.
something with it and they're working with it. Like with the dancers, they had them the first week. Now they're like, okay, well, in today's climate, you don't want to have dancers like that because that's you're gonna get a lot of people offended. Uh, Personally, whatever for me. I never watched Nitro for Nitro Girls. It was actually when I was watching Nitro, it was more like, okay, so here's Nitro Girls, like, oh great, whatever. But after a couple of seconds, you're like, all right, I want to go back to like ridiculous. I want to watch Buff Bagwell's mom on a forklift, just ridiculous stuff. Like I I want to see like this you know, I did enjoy like just that whole like kind of the crazy shit they were doing during that era. You know,
His name is Dabakato.
Baba Kato. You know
Dabakato.
what Baba
Yes.
means in my language in Serbian? It means
No.
grandma.
Uh, and that's Baba with like a B.
Yeah, BABA.
Yeah, so this is Daba with a D.
Daba. It's a
Yeah,
D.
Dabakato.
Daba. Also, does he dab?
Daba.
Is that?
Hey, he might. He definitely.
Does he dab some? Yeah. Does he smoke them illegal substances? Or well, they're legal technically. So Kato, right?
Yeah, Kato
Hmm.
or Kato. Yeah, I'm not too sure.
Baba Daba Kato.
But, I mean, you're gonna get
Oh
you're
man,
gonna get
like
your
we're gonna
people
have to.
that
Sorry.
there's already talks of apparently you know it's exposed how fake pro wrestling is and stuff like that.
Oh, underground.
That's actually that's actually a quote from Ryback.
Oh,
Um,
you know,
and
Ryback is a little sour, man, and how like he didn't. I listened to him on the Stone Cold podcast. He didn't have the greatest. You know, he thought he would be a superstar, and you know what? He was big, dude. Like, but I couldn't help but think like, okay, are you this big? Like, there's no way you can be this big naturally. Um, and
and he wasn't.
no,
He
but
wasn't.
he looked like to me he was like Bane and like a brawler. You know, like Batman's
Right.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
cartoon Bane. And just
Yep.
feed me more. Like it was cool to see like Ryback like once again could have made him into Goldberg. Like they could have done for Ryback what they could do with
Exactly.
Bobby Lashley, but they don't believe in that. They don't believe in like a superstar that just plows through everybody. Just like don't put him in the ring with anybody big. Okay? And you need jobbers. You need jobbers. You need the enhancement talent. Like I think I'll personally always advocate for enhancement talent, like Leon Hart, you know, or Leon Ruff.
Rough. Yeah.
Leon
Yeah.
Ruff. Yeah, it's like
Which I have. Yeah.
yeah, like even the Hardys, they would job so much. It's like it's not necessarily that you're trying to destroy them. It's you're building up a talent, and you're building
Right.
like to me, they're still like having that undefeatable uh, powerhouse. Like
Exactly.
you can have that kind of attraction. Like Stone Cold was almost like that. He rarely lost,
Right.
you know? But
Yeah.
today, do we have Drew McIntyre, you know? We have like he hasn't lost yet, right?
Yeah.
No, but it's he has to go through a lot to get there. He has to go through a lot of people to get there. And are they going to keep like if he beats Randy Orton, I think Randy Orton can take the defeat, the loss. But if Randy
Right.
Orton beats him, then we are in trouble. Because now the guy you were building is.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's all. So if he loses, I think it's going to have to be due to someone else, due to some type of interference or something.
Yeah, cheating of some sort. But yeah, Ric Flair. Come.
I mean, we talked about we got the payback a week after, um, so that's where potentially something can happen. So
Yeah, but we digressed again. Uh,
yeah,
Back to Underground. We're talking about Underground. And Ryback talking about how it just makes
that's
wrestling more fake.
right.
The question I wanted to ask you is did
Yeah,
it cannibalize its own self, its own product? Like for instance, like if let's see, like if you're an Apple, okay, if you're Apple and you make
okay,
a laptop that You make one laptop, and then you make another laptop that's very close to it, but a little bit different. And so now this
Mhm.
laptop, like, are you cutting into the sales of this laptop by producing this laptop that was so close to it, as opposed to like, okay, we have this demographic, or this laptop for this demographic, this laptop for this demographic, like, is Raw Underground actually kind of not necessarily exposing wrestling for being fake, which is a bad word to use because wrestling, okay, wrestling is not necessarily fake. It is predetermined. Moves are practiced. But as far as like
Right.
you watched, like all those candlesticks hits are real. The chair shots are real. The falling, even falling in your back. Like I don't know if anyone, like when you say it's fake, I don't know. Have you ever fallen on your back? Have you just taken a bump anywhere? Like,
No, and I don't want to.
well,
Like,
no, but you've taken bumps.
but
You used to do
right,
well. You know,
right,
you were kind of like you weren't falling
right,
much in your backyard
right,
wrestling, right? But if you like, I've
right.
taken a bump in a wrestling ring before, man. That's we didn't have a wrestling ring, but I've taken a bump in a wrestling ring, and it's pretty hard, man. Even the bounce, even the whatever the foam they have on there, that's not a dude. It'll knock the air out of you if you don't do it just right. You don't get those arms down a little bit. And those guys are falling from all kinds of heights. They're jumping, they're kicking. Like even if you don't want to kick somebody, you're gonna land it. Like there's welts. Like these guys they are literally fighting. They're just they're fighting so not to hurt each other,
Right, right,
but they also have to make it believable. So it's not necessarily that it's fake as much as it is predetermined, and it's a theatrical thing
right.
that's trying to make itself believable and looking real.
Exactly.
And
That's the whole the entertainment factor.
yeah,
Of,
so
can we make
we know
this
that.
real enough? Keep them entertained. Um, so,
But Raw
um,
Underground kind of gets into this like weird area where it's almost like it's competing for the same product, but it's like no, we're more
right.
real.
I think I think it's going to really depend on who is a part of it. That's the thing. I don't want to see the I don't want to see Bobby Lashley and MVP, and I don't want to see them down there. Um,
Yeah, they
I
can't.
don't mind seeing
Yeah,
I don't mind seeing Shayna Baszler because this is where she came from. Um, I
that's her
wouldn't mind
shtick.
seeing
Really, that's her story. That's her character. She came from
exactly,
that, so
exactly.
she can do that.
Um, I wouldn't mind seeing a Matt Riddle go down there. Um, perhaps you see maybe we'll get a Matt Riddle versus Dabakato under Raw Underground match
I
or
would
something
like to
like
see
that.
Dabakato versus Big Show. That would be interesting to watch.
I mean, I just think it's going to really depend on who you have
But
involved.
you have to be careful. Like, we said in the beginning, you have to be careful because if you get a wrestler in there and they actually lose, then
Right.
that might actually take away from their character.
I mean, unless it creates a story,
A feud?
a feud, yeah. Unless it, because you could have, you know, this Dabakato guy and he's just dominating and he calls out Matt Riddle and say Matt Riddle just shows up and just like, oh, bro, and he gets destroyed, like I mean, or whatever. He gets beat by Dabakato, like, but then it creates that another, like there's gonna be another fight or something.
So you can have cross matches and stuff. But yeah, sorry, I'm like, don't put Matt Riddle in there right now. Like,
Well,
give him some
right,
wins.
right,
Give him some wins. Like, Matt Riddle has potential. He's got his own character. Once again,
exactly.
he doesn't, like, he's a little nervous, you can tell, but he's getting better. So,
I'd rather I'd rather have Shayna Baszler in Raw Underground than on
on Raw,
Raw
yeah.
fighting Nia Jax.
Absolutely. Like it
You
was
know?
fun actually. That part of Raw Underground was kind of fun. Watching just Shayna
Yeah,
Baszler beat everyone up, but that's like I feel like this is literally like the Raw Underground is kind of like, you know what? We need enhancement talent. So,
yeah,
but we're not necessarily like I don't think it's politically correct to have a jobber anymore. Like it almost seems like that would hurt people's feelings. Like if you have somebody who always loses, it's like not only is that going to be brought in, but their sex is going to get brought in, their race is going to get brought in. It's like it doesn't matter. Like I'm advocating for freaking Bobby Lashley to be like Goldberg to not lose. Like that doesn't
right.
matter. Like none of that freaking matters. It's just like we need people to lose that are not the main talent. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, totally, totally.
Yeah. So it's
'Cause those, like those jobbers they're vital. They're vital to the company. You can't keep, it's just, it's a big part of building up, um, you know,
believability of a talent. No?
exactly. You can get the same match between, two people or two tag teams over and over and over, but if you throw in a jobber, or two and have that, raise one of those people up, then it's like there's a little bit of a separation of, I don't know, just the comp. I don't know. It's just
Yeah, it's like you used to be like you had your, lower card, mid card, upper card, you had your mid carders and they were kind of like they would do the 50-50. Like I don't know if you're familiar with the term 50-50 booking.
no.
So that's basically the superstar wins. See, I'm calling them superstars now. They're wrestlers. Either way, they're both. They're great. But a superstar wins 50% of the time, loses 50% of the time, wins one match. It's like KO like would win 2-3 matches, then he would lose like, or Seth Rollins would win one match and then lose like four in a row. Uh,
Right.
when you do that, it's like nobody has any pull, if you will. It's very like,
Right.
yeah, they can lose or they can win. But here's the thing: wrestling is not necessarily about a sport. Like it's
Right.
not necessarily a sport where it's a contest between two wrestlers, although they are wrestlers. It's really like you want on one side you want somebody to have some gravity, to be larger than life. On the other hand, you want to make sure that it's like, hey, if Hulk Hogan loses or if Macho Man loses, if somebody loses, it's like, how do you build up somebody? Like, how do you make them a megastar? You have somebody who rarely loses, lose to them, but lose in a good fashion. Like, kind of like what Bailey and Asuka did. Like, they're doing that with women, but they're not doing that with,
Yep.
like, Charlotte Flair. They're building Charlotte Flair is winning left and right. And they're like she didn't used to, but they're building her up.
Exactly.
So like Bobby
Yeah.
Lashley, I feel like it's a wasted talent, and I just feel so like I like him, Cesaro, like these guys. Like, why do they need to like speak English? I've said this before.
Right.
They,
Right.
yeah, so I apologize. I keep reiterating the same point. It's not all bad. I always get negative, but ultimately, do you think that Raw Underground? I guess it has some legitimacy. It has something that you enjoyed, like Shayna Baszler. Does it compete with itself in a way? And I guess it can.
Right. Sorry.
Yeah, but does it discredit? Like Ryback was saying, I guess.
I I don't think so. I don't think so because it's just a different. I mean, no.
No, no.
Or
Yeah.
the
No, I mean I'll take that answer because there were some okay points with it. Like the first time I saw it, I was like, oh boy, what is this? But then again, I guess like they had to start somewhere. Like I'm sure when we look back on these podcasts a couple of years from now, man, we're gonna be like, oh, this
Right.
was our Raw Underground. We were just getting started.
Exactly. No, I think I don't know. I just the more that we just talked about it, and um, I it's just it's it's already better than I don't know. I like it. I don't think it hurts. I don't think it's hurting anything. I don't think it's really separating. Like again, it depends on who's going to be on there.
Yeah,
Um, don't be throwing, don't be throwing Kevin Owens down there or, you know,
just because isn't he supposed to be like a prize fighter?
he is, yeah. That's actually a good point. I forgot about that. When he was in Ring of Honor, he was a prize, yeah. And he was a prize fighter in
He
NXT.
had those gloves on. I don't think he wears those gloves on anymore, does he?
Now,
And
um,
he has come into his own definitely. Uh,
he has, and he always has really because of his size and the way that he can move and still be, still have a big gut
yeah,
like that. He's a big guy. He's not lean. He's
yeah.
not,
He doesn't look like The
he's not
Rock.
right. He's not overly muscled. He's Kevin Owens, and he's always had that kind of thing against him throughout his career. And yeah, I've always I've always really enjoyed him before he became WWE.
Yeah, I mean, it might be difficult for you to like, especially like coming in from all these guys that just every single muscle there is in the body's developed,
Right.
to KO and still having some legitimacy, but he's definitely come into his own. Um,
Oh yeah. Like, and that's one person that they can do pretty much anything. They
yes,
can do they can do ring work. They can do promo. They can talk. They can just do whatever.
and they have their own
Uh,
character.
right.
I mean, he's not that exciting to me, to be honest with you. KO is like, oh, Kevin Owens is fighting. I'm like, whatever. But
Uh,
as far as being unique, I don't know, like, what would do it? Like, what would make KO, like, I think KO would benefit from not losing much. I think that would actually really bring him up.
true. True. Yeah. And I think it's just the circumstance that he's in right now. I don't think he's losing, but it's not hurting him in any way really. Oops.
I feel like he could be on another level. Like
Right. I
he
think
was kind of like a main eventer, like, but not quite. And there's been
right.
a few people like that. It's like, oh, Bobby Lashley's a main eventer, but you really didn't give him anything. Like
Right.
he was just a threat for like Drew McIntyre for a week or 2 weeks.
Yeah. Just to get by.
Yeah, come
Just
on, man. Like if Bobby Lashley
um.
went through a whole bunch of enhancement talent, like whole bunch of like, who is this guy? I don't know. Leon Ruff,
Right.
like take him.
Right. Which I just I'm just gonna bring this out.
Bring it.
We haven't discussed this at all, but so Leon Ruff has officially signed um, with the WWE like a long-term contract a couple of weeks ago.
I did not know that.
Uh,
And that's my boy.
uh, apparently, and then we missed. We didn't talk too much, but WWE purchased the Evolve wrestling company.
I
Um, and it's a promotion. They weren't really big or anything, but these are being rumored as the Retribution. So it's looking like we might have another handful of new wrestlers, new talent. You're getting the people that you're seeing the Raw Underground, but I believe that Retribution will be not people that we know. I think they're gonna be brand new people, especially when they're vandalizing and They made the WWE logo, crossed out SmackDown. I believe these are people that don't know. And then there was possible rumors that Leon Ruff may be one of the members. And I was like, oh, I really hope he is, because I think he's kind of like put in that little hard work these last few months of being a jobber, and the fact that you like him so much, I think it would be really cool to see him in a brighter light, kind of thing.
But yeah, he's an underdog, man. He hasn't won a single match I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's I know.
And he gets squashed, dude. He gets leveled, bro. He gets boom. God.
Yeah, so there's there might be some new wrestlers that are joining the company, and I think that's where you're getting Retribution. There's many rumors of that's gonna be NXT call ups or whatever, but I'm starting to believe as well that it's gonna be some new wrestlers. Apparently, like the guy with the chainsaw, there was a wrestler in Evolve, Chainsaw Charlie. No, not Charlie. Chainsaw something, but it was a guy. That was his stick. He had a chainsaw, and so that may be him. That was cutting the ropes, or it might not just be any of the wrestlers at all. It might just be people. But anyway, yeah, that was my little Leon Ruff rumor mill that he may be coming into brighter light, growing up from the jobber position.
Oh man, but then we need others. Like,
exactly.
What we need is a Brooklyn Brawler. Is what we need.
And that's what I always found funny with. Again, shout out to Wrestling Days, but name that jobber.
That's right.
you want to know you want to have time to. There wouldn't be time to wait and see what their name was or hear what their name was, because the match was going to be over. So you just named it on your own. But yeah, jobbers are important, and they're so important that we named our podcast.
That's right.
Jobber Report, because all jobbers matter.
All jobbers matter. We could be well, in a sense they don't, in a sense they absolutely do. So it's like they are the ultimate package of existence. They are the do and the don't at the same time. How can we not need that? That's like so necessary. I'm just trying to make a case for every single jobber out there. Anyone that's losing right now, we salute you. Thank you so much. Thank you for helping us enjoy this wrestling business that we do. Yeah. So I still want to it'd be nice to just do to concentrate on jobbers for some stuff, like just be like, okay, so we're not going to talk about Hulk Hogan, we're not going to talk about the greatest, we're going to talk about the Mount Rushmore of jobbers.
Right.
Which means we have to do some research, actually, because of course the Brooklyn Brawler will be there,
right?
But who else would be
there's probably a lot.
Doink?
But, no.
He wasn't. Well, was he really a jobber? I think Doink was ultimately a jobber. Like, he would lose a lot more than he ever won. Like,
yeah, probably.
Hey man, here's the thing. I was a fan of Doink, Big D. I was a fan of Doink when I was younger. It's like din 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 din. You're like,
you had the evil part. You had the evil Doink. He was a bad guy.
Yeah, that was
the music changed. And it got all dark, and yeah. That's kind of like
Fiend.
the Fiend. You got the Funhouse music going, and then
He does
maybe
have
that's
that
well,
get
maybe
up.
that's a,
He's got that
maybe
coat
that's
like Doink does. He kind of has that stance. He's got the gut like Doink.
pants. The pants are old school like carnival.
Funhousey.
Yeah, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe that's a shout out to Doink the Clown. But
Doink was a great character, man. It's like it freaked so
no,
many
no,
people
they
out.
had some of the feuds. Um, feud with Razor Ramon, feud with Crush. That was at WrestleMania 5, whatever, the one in Vegas. His big feud with Jerry Lawler, the Survivor Series match between Doink and all the mini Doinks against Jerry Lawler and
I'm taking a
the mini.
photo of us. I apologize. This is a buddy of mine.
Uh,
Just letting him know what we're doing right now. Sorry.
oh, there we go. Man, Barry Horowitz,
Wow.
uh, jobber. Uh,
There's something with my mic, man. I apologize if you guys can hear it. My mic keeps going up and down in volume, and I have to keep turning it down. I don't know. Uh, but you can just hear the fans and everything blowing right. I don't know what is going on with this machine. Hold on a second. Oh shit! It's raining like hell out here.
is it?
Oh yeah.
It was raining pretty bad here yesterday.
Yeah, like I can pick up the rain on my headphones from this little speaker.
Wow.
It's like I have to keep turning down my volume. I'm sorry, guys. Um, anyway, Barry Horowitz. I had a whole list of jobbers, you know. I had a whole list. There was a website that I pulled up the whole list of all of them, and there were some cats I remember. So we could talk about them. We could watch a couple of matches.
Yeah, for sure.
I would enjoy talking about jobbers. You know, the unsung heroes of the wrestling world.
Right.
Yeah, that'd be kind of fun. But
Most
we should.
most recently, guys like Ellsworth.
I'm not aware of him.
He
NXT.
was with no, he was on the main roster. He was with Carmella. But that'd be
I don't remember him.
he helped her win the Money in the Bank a few years back. But he was just one that he was never going to win. But he just always interfered and got into fights and pissed people off.
And that was it.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for everybody, really.
It was just like it was just those guys that you just they never, very rarely they may or may not have an actual entrance. They're just usually just standing in the ring. But Brooklyn Brawler was definitely the most visual of all of them, I believe, because that's who he was.
Well, he was in the, like, I think as a jobber, you probably have a longer, you could have a longer career as just losing.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. Yep. Yep. I guess I mean, you're going to take some big bumps though. You're going to take some beatings.
Oh, dude, it's really coming down here. I can hear it. I can hear it on my mic.
Well, that's crazy. I don't hear none.
Yeah, oh, that's good. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. I apologize if you guys can hear it. I can hear it on my levels. I can totally hear it on my levels. Well, rain is not that bad to listen to anyway, right? This is first and foremost an ASMR podcast, and we should lower our voices. And Big D is gonna serenade you to Jobber Haven. Big.
No.
Well,
I don't know.
speaking of the Fiend, I feel like we also leave him for our main event of the evening. Talking about him as
Yes.
always at the end. It's like we're gonna talk about the Fiend, but you're gonna have to wait. Um,
Yes.
well, I wanted to talk. Well, first of all, I wanted to get your response. Well, let's get back to scheduled programming. So, Big D, tell me. Oh, there's that look. There's that look. That's the look we have on our channel. That's the look we have on our channel. Oh shit!
Oh man!
There's
Oh
a
my
party at
goodness!
Big D's house. Oh, the Fiend is coming, Big D. You should turn the light off,
Fiend is coming. Ah.
and then he'll.
Oh,
That's the only way you interview the Fiend. The light goes on, the light goes
no,
off, and then boom, right behind you.
can't see anything. Oh, that's crazy. Oh man, that'd be
I
crazy.
think we're going crazy.
See, I just feeling like getting into like the say like another person that's in the ring with him. That'd be freaky. I mean, I don't
Oh,
know.
it's a whole feel, man. It's a whole atmosphere.
Yeah, like like I couldn't imagine being Alexa and
Yeah,
and
just people telling you what to do every day, all day
being there
long.
with him.
Alexa, turn the lights on. Alexa. So I'm trying to use the same joke 2 days in two podcasts in a row. I apologize. Lord, I apologize.
Oh man,
Be it with the starving pygmies in
it's
New Guinea.
just went from
Oh my
honeydews to
God.
Alexa.
Sorry, but what did you think? Like, okay, well, let's talk about the atmosphere of the Fiend, because that is so fucking cool.
Oh man, I don't know the last. I don't think we've ever had an entrance of the Fiend on Raw. I believe that was the first one. There was a legit entrance. The
Oh, you,
lights,
but
the music.
you mean in a
Yeah.
while? Because in uh, uh, Crown Jewel, I think 2 years ago.
Well, no, but I mean, just like on Monday Night Raw, though, not like a special event where you would expect an entrance. The Fiend has never um, had a match on Raw. So like this was like him coming out as if it were a match almost. That's never happened on Raw. It's always been a pay per view or a special event. Um, and but to still have that entrance and that's such a small place and there's no you know uh, uh, the like I'm
You
like
know
trying to think of
the laser lights, and
like everybody's camera phones and uh, like that's just part of the ambiance of Bray Wyatt or the Fiend entrance is there's a lot of uh, fan involvement where the light shining from their phones. But this was just I loved it. I was like, man, I missed this so much. Um, and then it was just weird because then it went to commercial. I was like, what? Why? Why would you need to put? And then
well,
it came back
that's how
and
TV's done, man. That's how TV's done. It's you
yeah,
hook them, and then you
just
go to commercial, because then they'll watch. They'll stick through the commercial. They'll watch the damn commercial. That's just that is
like so,
writing. Unfortunately, that is commercial writing.
and that's never seeing that on TV
Well,
before.
it's
Like
frustrating as hell,
they
but you're
did that.
staying. I mean, that's their thing.
And then come back and Alexa
She's
Bliss
in
is
the
all of a
ring.
sudden
Yeah.
in the ring.
They could have just
Like,
had
where'd
her
she come from?
entrance, and then the Fiend shows up. You know, the lights go off and actually. But I think the big thing with the Fiend here, and I know I asked you and I'm talking, so please go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead. I was just super excited to see right off the bat the entrance. Um, now Alexa Bliss and the way that she's acting, is it like a lot of, first thought is like Stockholm syndrome,
Yeah.
like that, that
Not that soon,
uh,
usually.
is she being right? Well, I mean, who
Well,
knows what's going to happen
that's
there,
what I want
but
to talk about. That's what's yeah.
right, right. You want to know the blank spots, that, like what's been going on. Is she real? Is she there? That's where like I kind of the whole commercial break, and then all of a sudden she's there. Is that just there was no, I don't know. Yeah, she was there. I'm pretty sure they referenced her, whatever. But it's still like that still lingers in your mind of what's real or anything with the Fiend. Um, whose point of view are we seeing this camera angle and stuff like that. But anyway, um, there's a weird emotion that you get between Alexa and the Fiend, and there you never really have that. We haven't seen that interaction with the Fiend and someone else of any emotion besides fear and anger. Um, and now you're seeing like a compassion, and she touches his face. He didn't like it. He did not like it. He's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing, woman?"
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
It's like classic, well, classic. Here I am, like if somebody is kidnapped, like how do you get out of it? Oh, kick him in the balls,
right,
run. But she didn't. She was there the whole time.
right,
So the fact that she just appeared was also kind of weird. It's like, first of all, I'm saying, is this bad writing, or is it just like, well, she's gonna be there, nobody's gonna be asking questions?
right. Yeah, I just felt weird that she just appeared out of nowhere. And I might have to go back and watch it again and see if they did. I'm sure they did reference her. Um, but it would be cool if they didn't. Um, in the whole thing with like Bray or Braun Strowman, not caring about Alexa Bliss. So maybe he's that. Maybe if maybe he doesn't see. I don't know. But anyway, um,
What's you feeling like? So here's the deal. We on this channel are huge fans of the Fiend, and
yes,
and
yes.
and yeah, we yes, there it is, there it is. We're also a fan of Daniel Bryan, who we haven't said anything much about, but um,
Oh, he's spending time with his
oh
kids,
yeah, what an
his
asshole.
newborn children. Oh, there
Oh my god.
Roman Reigns.
Um, well, I wanted
Oh,
to ask what you thought as far as how it's very difficult for me to not get personal with this. Like, not between you and me, but for me, it's personal because I feel like that's one character that can be ruined.
right.
Can be ruined and can be used like just like do you understand that you on your hands you may have something like the Undertaker?
Exactly. Yep.
And are you going to make him into just another wrestler, or are we going to elevate him? Like he can.
Yeah, there's no way.
So for me, like with the whole Alexa Bliss thing, was like
Uh-huh.
she's just there, and before at least she was in the ring and then he came out. Now, if this is
Right.
gonna be, if they're doing this just to show that Fiend is kind of ethereal and things just happen, um, it might allow us to understand like that. That's like, oh, we can just put whatever the hell we want with the Fiend and it'll work. Like we can put people in and
Right.
out and they'll appear and disappear. Like if that's the case, that might work in their favor. But it's also like, did they just? It almost seemed to me like they're like, we're just gonna have her appear, or she's just gonna be there. Like, or did I
Right.
miss something? Because I
Right.
did
That's
fast
right.
forward through some of these things, and I saw red, and I turned on, and it's like it was his entrance, but then she was on. You're like, well, what happened?
Right.
Like,
Yeah. That's just the whole thing of like, is there more to it? Is there, you know, I would, I'm really, I mean, I'm gonna go back and just see if there was, anything from the commentary, because the whole thing too is there should be no
yeah,
commentary while
yeah.
the
You
is
shouldn't
out
have
there.
to tell me what's
So
going on. If you tell me what's going on, then something is not right. You're not doing this right.
right. So I'm not, and I don't recall even because I zone them out anyways whenever the Fiend is like at attention span and selective hearing. So I just wonder if I mean I'm sure they did. It might be a stupid thought from I mean whatever anyone else there is thinking like of course they mentioned her, but maybe perhaps they didn't, and maybe that is something that just
You,
was a vision that was forced in um, our
you know what it
eyes
seemed
or
like to
whatever.
me? It seemed like they know that the Fiend is a draw. And so they're like, we're going to put a whole entrance. We're going to give you what you want. But then we're
Oh
going to
heck
go
yeah! I
to
mean,
commercial break. And then it was like, well, it's back to scheduled program. It's like they threw that in. It's like you didn't have to. He didn't need to have an entrance, but it seemed like it was like big deal. You're like, holy shit, this is cool, you know? I was like, all right, I'm in it. I'm in this. But then I fast forward. Like as soon as anything shows up that I'm like, I don't care. I fast forward, and that's just it's my fault. You know, I was trying to condense the whole thing because I really don't want to sit through a lot of that shit. Um, and what worried me was how Strowman was talking. And so
right,
that's
right.
I wanted to talk about. So I once again went to school for writing and directing film, and I've learned some things, and I write like I've written since I writ since I was 16, and I've performed stuff. uh, Not by any means am I a good writer, nor do I care to be classified as such. And I'm not gonna say but.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm looking for is a couple of principles. One of writing principles is show, don't tell, which is very
Mm-hmm.
simple. It's like, don't tell me that you're angry. Show me that you're angry. You know,
Right,
and if you give me the same anger that I get from all the wrestlers, which is, and it's like this, like everybody has that. You know what I'm talking about? It's like you're asking
yep, yep,
Strowman to
yep.
act. Basically, first of all, you're asking him to act, but he is not like. I mean, will he get better? Sure, he'll get better. But you made that point. He's like they're asking him to act. But what they're giving him is a dialogue. It's like, well, when I got out of the swamp, you're like, what the hell? You just got pulled in by an ethereal creature such as the Fiend, all right?
Right,
And that
yep.
makes sense. Like, well, it's like, why am I even emotional about this? This is freaking wrestling. But that's just the thing. I enjoy it, so I'm gonna be emotional about it. It's just what it is. But he just walked out of the swamp, and we didn't even see him. I mean, granted, we didn't see the rest of his body, but he looked like the old Strowman. If anything,
Right,
he had a little more, maybe bushier eyebrows. But he has bushy eyebrows to begin with. Like I was trying to, like I was digging for, like what's different about this guy, because you have said like he's
right,
probably gonna come out changed, and he's gonna be like but that whole dialogue that when he was talking to the Fiend just seemed like he just said everything. I'm more evil, or I'm evil, and uh, just basically the whole thing was just tell, tell, tell. he said everything, and he didn't show a single thing. Like, he could have been in a different costume, or he could have just worn one little thing that sticks out from the side. You're like, what is that? Enough to like get you going, but all it was, like, they did hide him. They just showed some of his face, which was, I guess, a good thing, but there was a lot of tell, which begged the question for me, like, do they have like enough faith to actually show some things and have people deduct what's happening, or are they like, we need to explain everything on a dot so there is no questions, which also makes it dull, because then you're just it's like, I call it telling shit at me versus like, show me. Like, he didn't even have to say that many words, you know.
Right.
He could have done something to a Fiend memorabilia, or just to show, like, he could have broken something of the Fiend's, or I don't know. He, like, just all we had to do is show him get out of the swamp, and just like, that's it. Like, just walking out. Like, I don't know if you ever watched Freddy versus Jason. Not the greatest movie, but at the very end, he's like walking out with Freddy's head, and Freddy just looks at the camera, it's just like the severed head, and winks. I thought that was cool. Like, that was cool. But he could have just walked out of the swamp with something of the Fiend's. You know? That would have been like I don't know, coat, something. Lantern. He could have walked out of there with a lantern. And that would have been like, holy shit, what's going to be next? But all this is the same anger that I saw throughout the whole show. Oh, you did this, I'm angry. You did this, I'm angry. It's like, do you have anything else? But,
Right.
so that to me was like, I'm not sure if, and I guess that's the only principle I was going to talk about. I'm like, what's the second principle? Show don't tell is the most important. I guess the second principle is less is more. You know? And he just kept on going, and the Fiend stood there, and that was kind of awkward for me, but I am so like involved in this. It's like, why am I so emotional about this, you know? It's like, they got me, Big D, they got me, like, and I'm always kind of like negative, which I shouldn't be. That was negative.
Right.
Do you know what I mean, though? Like, I'm
like
worried.
I'm actually replaying right now, and it's just like, the camera that Strowman is on. It's just a weird. Again, like, he's just so close, you don't see anything. It's almost like it's a home video kind of like quality.
It looks like an Apple video with a white background. Haven't you seen those?
Yeah, his location is unknown. You don't, and it's just like. But I think being so close to his face, it really, gets that crazy, that anger. Like,
but he's always had that look. Like, there's no change.
Nuts.
Like, he's always had that look. Like,
right.
Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah. No, it does. Maybe it's just just easy.
I don't know either. It is.
It's first time we've seen him.
It would have been cool if he walked out of the swamp or something. But there are some unanswered questions. They have done that to hide him, which is also cool. Where you're like, okay, so what are they hiding? So they did get me there, man. They did get me there. I'm still interested in the Fiend. The belt thing is like, what? He doesn't need the belt. But we talked about like getting to Randy Orton. But yeah. Anyway, I don't want to step too far forward, but it was exciting. It's exciting to see the Fiend.
Yes, that's exactly what we wanted and what we needed. We needed right after the pay-per-view. We needed to, we've had 2 weeks in a row of.
Mind you, that was
Funhouse.
The Fiend.
Both.
Wait a minute now. The Fiend was on Raw, no?
No,
Oh, SmackDown?
SmackDown.
Why am I? Oh, I'm mixing
Yep.
the two. I am
Yep.
mixing. I apologize. For a second there, because we were talking about Raw, I'm like, wait a minute, the
Oh,
Fiend. No, there's no way he would be. But I was like, if that happens, like, wait a fucking minute, because it's red. It threw me off. I'm thinking about that. I'm like, wait a minute. The main event was
it is.
okay.
It's yeah.
So it was Randy Orton and Ric Flair, and they wrote Ric Flair off. That was the main event.
Yeah.
It's probably because I watched the Fiend after that. I watched that clip again. I was like, wait a minute, was that on Raw? Because that would just he doesn't need the title.
Right.
I mean, if Bailey can come, the
Um,
Fiend can't. It's like, come on.
right. Exactly. Well, then that's the whole thing with. I mean, I don't know. That's just I don't know. I
Yeah.
can't get more excuses or I don't know why they can't just jump from brand to brand. But yeah. Like I said, like we've got exactly what we wanted, and that was Bray Wyatt or the Fiend somehow in some way each week leading up to SummerSlam. Unfortunately, we're doing this a day early, so we have to wait an extra day till SmackDown. Usually it's ooh, tomorrow you got SmackDown, but no, it's in 2 days.
Well, not if you were like, 15 years ago. Then it was on Thursday. It was Thursday night.
Yep,
That was the only thing
yep,
that was on actually on
yep.
public television, like televised. On if you didn't have cable, you could watch SmackDown. You could still watch SmackDown on UPN or USA. It was UPN.
Yep, yep.
Oh
Again,
man,
yep,
those are the
yep.
days. That was the Rock show.
So, and the only thing from the whole Fiend coming out of it is that story stronger. I don't know.
I mean, I'm.
I don't know.
Go
We
ahead.
did see Strowman is back, um, but yeah, I don't know if it didn't. I don't think it hurt the feud, the story, or anything. Definitely, I don't know. It's just it didn't really do much to it. But we got the Fiend. We've seen him 2 weeks in a row now. Hopefully we're gonna see him next week. Maybe we'll see because that'll be the no. There's two more Smackdowns left till SummerSlam. Maybe we'll see the Strowman and the Fiend face to face or something.
Yeah, I
I
mean, I
don't know
hope
about
they also
that,
do
but
something with Alexa too. Like,
yeah, yeah, really, at least really like stamp down, her
cause
purpose.
she showed up
Um,
during the swamp fight, and it
right, right. As and she was dressed up as Sister
yes. So
Abigail.
it seemed like
Uh,
she wasn't like literally there, right?
right, right. Like it was a vision.
So
Uh,
then is she was really on SmackDown when the Fiend showed up. So would she not be at SmackDown this time, or did she just pop up? Like that's what's weird about it. It's like, and if she
exactly.
is a character, like Sister Abigail, or if she was a uh, like a mirage, then
Right.
why would
Now, what I can say is, when I was playing it back, I had no sound or anything, but the captions were on. There was no other words besides Braun Strowman's. Now I'll go back after and I'll watch that with the volume on just to see if maybe the captions didn't get the commentary or something. But there was no other words besides Braun
yeah, it's
Strowman's
not like
words.
Alexa Bliss just
Um,
walked into the ring with her entrance music.
right, right. So it's like, was she really there? And like, were we seeing like just a conflict in his mind? I don't know.
Or yeah, it could be that, or
So
it could be just thrown in, baby. They're just like, well, we're just gonna put her in the
right,
ring. How she got there? It's after the commercials. It doesn't matter.
yeah,
She might have walked there. Maybe they didn't have a solution to how that's going to happen if they have. She could have just walked out trying to say something, and boom. Like before she could say anything, the Fiend has his entrance. That could have solved the problem.
Right. But no, you didn't even get in the ring, and then it was next. The Fiend next. What? No commercials. Don't
But
cut it.
dude, that's
Then,
what
but
sells.
then, so maybe there is a reason behind that. Who knows?
I hope so. I really hope so.
But yeah, I guess we'll find out Thursday
There
or
it
Friday.
is.
Too.
See, there it is. They got us. They got us. We're gonna be. They got us. We're gonna be.
I want it now. Why can't SmackDown be starting in 8 minutes? Come on.
You could go to a big. You could just sleep. You go. I don't know. Just hibernate for 2 days.
No.
Just.
Something like that. Again, like they got us. They catch us. We're looking forward to it every week. So no complaints. Same thing with Raw. What's next? There's a lot of things. What's going to be next on Underground? What's going next? What's Dominic going to do? So it's definitely a little bright spot of the darkness that's been going on for quite a while. SmackDown. Not too much happened on SmackDown. But yeah, Raw was the show this week. We got NXT tonight, which I will watch tomorrow.
Yeah, because it gets to the network the next day, right?
Yes. Gets to the network the next day.
Yeah, I might give that a watch while I drive.
Yeah, that's NXT is just going to be building up to NXT.
I just said while I drive. I'm not going to be driving, but I will be in a car. I'm not going to watch NXT while I drive. That would be interesting. That would be something.
It's crazy. What are you doing? But yeah, no, that's just going to keep building up towards NXT TakeOver, which super excited. We'll find out, I believe, at least one or two. I think just one more person that's going to be in the ladder match for the.
Preferably Dexter Loomis somehow shows back up.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful, but
he's limping.
I don't think so. Maybe they're doing something. Maybe do something different with him, but
that's another good character.
NXT was. Oh, great character. NXT is just so fun. Yeah. So, but Raw was better. SmackDown. Yeah, we got the Fiend and Bray Wyatt, so that's all.
It's all good. That's what it's all about on SmackDown.
That's all.
It's all Gucci.
But yeah.
All right. So. Well, the wrestling is picking up. It's a far cry from even a week ago.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. That was the most we talked about Monday Night Raw. So, good job, Bruce. I'm assuming, but yeah. So, look forward to next week.
And yeah, I want to shout out at Ric Flair
SummerSlam,
or to Ric Flair.
Yes.
He's leaving.
Yeah.
They're writing him off.
Yep. And I thought it was funny the lights went out as he was kicking Flair in the head. Retribution cut the lights out.
Yeah, but perfect timing. Like if you notice, just the cutting of how they cut.
That was good,
Randy Orton's kicks in the head is every time they jerk the camera or they just cut to the camera. It was like a little too late, that kind of stuff. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. it's come on, like even in replays, if there are different angles, it's the same kind of like that cut. It's like, oh, sorry, we just missed the kick, but you get to. I mean, of course. So it would be advisable. It's like, dear Randy, maybe don't kick people in the face like that. Step on their face, like rub it in as they're screaming. Like that would make you look like an asshole even more. Like the punt is difficult
Right.
to execute
Right.
without fucking kicking somebody in the head. And it always has to be
Yep.
shot a certain way. It just doesn't look right. And then just turning the lights off on Ric Flair. I mean, like, come on. Getting hit in the head just for that little... It's too convenient for me, bro.
Right.
Too convenient for me. But, Ric Flair is definitely not going to be... I don't know how long, but you said they're writing him off, so... It's probably a good idea with the coronavirus and him having to travel and shit.
Yeah. There's no reason. It just kind of emphasized on his, the whole legend killer aspect. He turned on Ric Flair, and there's no, bigger legend than Ric Flair. So, but yeah, we'll see where this goes with him and McIntyre, because it's not really. It doesn't seem like it's just a big focus on the feud.
Yeah.
It's just more just the focus on Randy Orton. McIntyre has become behind. He is now behind Randy Orton right now, in that feud. We're watching Randy Orton, not McIntyre. So we'll see what happens with that storyline. I think someone's gonna get involved, and
Drew McIntyre got involved, but it was too late.
Yeah. I just think someone's gonna get involved, and Orton's gonna lose, or something's gonna happen. I think I'll throw my early pick of McIntyre. He's gonna retain at SummerSlam.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
No.
Don't pencil it in.
Okay.
I am not. That is not my final answer.
I got to do better. I got to do. Dolph Ziggler really failed me. Oh God. We're at 2:10. We're at 2 hours 10 minutes. It was spirited today. I see.
Yes.
It gets better when the show's better.
Right. And when wrestling is better, there's not so much depression and anger.
Definitely.
So.
Some of our cries have been heard. This is cool.
I guess so. But yeah. So as we're coming to the end, as promised, as of last week, we started with some happy birthdays.
Uh-oh.
We're gonna be missing.
I forgot. Damn.
Today is the Red Rooster's birthday. Jerry Taylor. It's his birthday today. We got Johnny Gargano coming up, Kofi Kingston, Cedric Alexander, Bruce Pritchard. Or no, not Bruce. Sorry, Tom Pritchard. I'm not sure who Tom is, but maybe
probably the brother, because it ain't
Bruce.
The sister. So.
And let's see, got Velveteen Dream and good old Byron Saxton.
Boy, I just saw it today, Big D. Happy birthday to Hulk Hogan.
Yes.
Yesterday.
Well, yesterday.
Right. Like I said, right now,
yes. Yes. When was the 9th? That was on Sunday.
3 days ago?
Okay, never mind.
Wow.
That was Alexa Bliss's birthday, was the 9th.
Well, yeah. I can go visit him. I don't know where he lives.
25 years old.
Who?
That's crazy. Yeah. Velveteen Dream.
Oh, I thought you said 45. I'm like, damn, What's he eating? What's he drinking? Because I want that. No, I don't.
I'll behave.
Oh! To throw it up. Come on, throw it out there.
Like, don't crack.
I see. Okay. Here, that's the politically correct culture. We don't want to step on anybody's steps. We're just all jokes, people. We're just joking.
All fun and positivity.
You can't do that. You got it, like, dude, like jokes. You got to be able to joke. You got to be able to sound like a freaking idiot.
Exactly. Oh, we got a lot of birthdays next week, but we'll get to that next week. So happy birthday to everybody. If anybody's out there, if you're having a birthday this week, happy birthday.
You're such a nice person. I was gonna send them cards, but then I was like, I forgot about it all about it.
Hey, I said I was gonna do it, and I got.
Well, what was the Larry Cable guy's joke? Is like, I went to the graveyard and I asked how many, or I went and bought a card for my dead grandma. And Jeff Foxworthy is like, I'm gonna regret this, but what did the card say? He said, "Get well soon." Oh man, yeah. That's those are the cards I'm sending Hulk Hogan. You know? Say, "Get well soon." Are we there yet? Nah, I'm kidding. Come on, Hulk Hogan.
Fight for your right. Fight for the right.
This is how we are gonna end the show. Big D's gonna sing us off. I love this.
Oh boy, it's as much Hogan as I probably enjoyed my whole life almost. But yes. So SmackDown a couple days, and we got Raw. So we got 2 more episodes of each. Then we're going to SummerSlam. We got 2 more episodes of NXT, and we headed into NXT Takeover 30. So we're out there. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications, hit that like button, share it out. We are the Job Report. I'm Big Dan. This is Max Jaw. Have an amazing week. And
next
we'll see you next
Wednesday time. At 5 p.m. Eastern.
Yes, new time. Well, this week.
All right.